Perfect. All right, y'all. Okay, so obviously if you have been here the last couple of days, I have been out. My daughter, who's 17 months, almost 18 months, started having seizures on Wednesday morning. So we went to the pediatrician, we ran a bunch of tests, and then we ended up in the ER because she went from having no seizures to having 5 very quickly. So obviously we were very concerned. And so I've been at the hospital. We just got released yesterday. Turns out she's fine. She will have a seizure, like a label put on her, like she has epilepsy, but she's taking meds. She's doing great. She should be healthy and happy and live a wonderful life. Okay. So, she's with my mother. Everything's good on that end. Okay. So just wanted to give y'all an update, tell you that everything's good with little Gracie. And I appreciate you guys being so flexible and willing to kind of do the work that was given to you last minute and get that stuff turned in. I do promise you that all of that will be graded. Okay. It may take me a minute to get it all caught back up, but I will definitely get that in. This is what I need from you. Okay. If you have done something and submitted it late that's already in J Campus, if it's not in J Campus, don't worry about it. But when you pull up your J Campus, if you see that you have a 0 for an assignment that you have redone, okay, I need you to email me so I can make a list of all the people I need to go back and check and say, Ms. Cole, in J Campus, I have a 0 for 9-2, blah, 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 blah. I have resubmitted that, okay? So that way I can make me a list of all the things that I need to go update in J Campus. If it's not in J Campus, I have not graded it yet, okay? So don't worry about all that stuff. So if you submitted stuff late that's not in J Campus, don't worry about it, okay? What you need to worry about is what is in J Campus. So at some point before the end of the day, go and look at your J Campus grade, not your Canvas grade, your J Campus grade, and see what there's a 0 for that you've made up, or maybe the Delta Math. Maybe you had a 60%, but you went and made it 100%, okay? Whatever you need to do, or whatever I need to do in J Campus, I need you guys, whether you're virtual and you're listening to this at home, or whether you're in front of me right now, to go and make sure the grade book is correct, okay? If it's not, send me an email. Yes, ma'am. I put in the grade that it gives me as your score. It doesn't show me how long it takes you unless I click on your name. What I see is an Excel sheet with all of my students' names and the percentages they got on the activity. So like if you have a 6.7, that's for the percentage it's showing me that you got. Now, what could be happening is maybe it's like taking points off because it's submitted late. I can go in and check that setting and see if that's what's going on. But I'm entering the grade that it shows me that you made overall. Did you make 100? In J Campus? Okay, well, just send me an email. Did they already do this for you? Here. Okay, you're good. Just send me an email and I will look into it. And it may be that because like when you submit things late to Delta Math, they take points off for me. Like they do that for me. So that might be it. So just check on that for that. Okay. Because if it's showing you that you've got 100%, if you don't want to be in the military, both of you, if you don't want to be in the military, you need to get your parents' signature and send that back. Okay. Otherwise, they are going to send you recruitment information. Okay. Like it has to come back or they give them your address. Okay. Any other questions about gradebook stuff? What's on the 9th? Was it in class? Was the 9th the first day that I was absent? That was that Wednesday. Yeah, you guys were virtual that day. So I just gave my in-class students a worksheet. So you didn't have to worry about anything today. That day, we're about to do it right here together. Any other questions? Okay, like I said, I will get grades caught back up. You're gonna realize that this is just like a bad glimpse like into my life. I'm actually super organized and I stay up on my grades, okay? So it doesn't take me very long to do my grades and I will not miss school. Like if you have had me before, you know I will be here unless something crazy happens like my child having seizures, okay? So I apologize, everything's good, we're back going. So we are gonna start today's lesson on page 7. Okay, so go with me to page 7. And again, I've changed the way that I'm doing it because I cannot even tell you how many emails I got about Cami. Like parents were emailing me, students were emailing me, Miss Prothro was sending me emails from parents. So what I've done, I think is better. Y'all haven't emailed me, so I'm guessing it's easier. If I do it this way, you guys will be able to open again the module. And like, I even like put Monday and have just Monday stuff. Y'all like that? Okay, and then we have Tuesday, that's today, and have today's stuff. Okay, so I'm trying very hard to figure it out and keep it organized. So if you look, you have your attendance question. Whether you are in class or at home, you must do that every day in your first hour, which means you have to do it before the end of first hour. Okay, so it has to be done. I think I locked it at like 9:15. Okay, so that needs to be done before 9:15. It literally is just pressing a button that says that you are here. Okay, that's all you have to do every day. Then here is your lesson. That's what we're about to work on here. So if you click on that, and I'm not in student view, so yours may look just a little different than mine. You'll see my typed instructions. This is me just kind of talking to you, telling you what we're doing, what pages we're doing, and then you can see the PDF is within that slide, okay? If you want to use Cami, if you like Cami, you figured it out, you love it, what you would then do is there's a little box that will pop up in this corner. You'll touch that little box and it will go to a new window, okay? When it opens in this new window, at the top, you can click open with and then annotate with Cami. Okay, so that option is still available to you, but, oh my goodness, OMG. There's like a hair in there and it's really bothering me. Okay, if you don't like Cami, which is probably more of you because it's the hate emails that I got, you don't have to do it that way, okay? You can just do it on your piece of paper that you have right in front of you. Use that book. You don't have to like take a picture and put it onto Cami. You don't have to do any of that. At the bottom of yours, there should be a file. Down here below it, see this is mine, so it's the teacher one, but down here there should be like a file submission. You would then either just submit the pictures of your notes and your homework, or you would submit your document that you saved, whether it's a Cami document or whether you made a Word document or whatever document you made, you would submit that way. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, that's totally fine. But there was just so many people that couldn't figure it out and that were getting so angry. And so I've decided to not mandate Cami. If you want to keep doing it that way, that's totally great. Or you can just submit the picture. So you don't have to go and put it in Cami. You can just submit 4 pictures to represent this. Okay. Any other questions about that? Y'all, I really am trying to make this easy. Like, I realize it sucks for y'all. Like, I'm trying my hardest to make it not suck as much, okay? Okay, so let's do our lesson, you guys. I am ready to teach. Are y'all ready to learn? Yes, from the crowd, everyone says, woo, let's do it. All right. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to create equations in two variables to represent relationships between quantities. And then we are going to graph two variable equations. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing. And we're going to be doing it with this real world situation. Oh, pause. Homework. You had homework that you submitted to me. If you look in the module, you'll see that I uploaded the key for you. The problem is this is my teacher key, which if you're not a teacher and you don't know what you're doing, it's probably not super helpful because the answers and whatnot are just on the side. You see like answers, lesson 1 answers, and it gives you a little bit of a description. So, but that's there for you, okay, for you to do and to help you write these equations and whatnot. So I will be doing that, okay? I will be uploading them. But remember, from this point forward, if you don't do your homework on time and you submit it, you only get half credit. So if you're like going to wait for the key and then submit your work, you're still only going to get half credit for that, which is a 50%, which is an F, okay? So do your homework on time because like he was like, oh, I'm way off. Well, it doesn't matter. If you submitted your homework and you have your work shown and you tried, like you get your 10 out of 10 points, okay? Doesn't have to be that it's accurate work when it's homework. I want you to be practicing and doing the work. You just have to practice. Now you can't just like put like X, 48, 7, 12, done. Like it has to be like legit practicing and giving it your best effort, okay? Yes, sir. Okay. You'll need to get it to me some way. Look, y'all, I am good with it. Like, I am being so lenient. I hope at some point I can be strict with y'all, but I just can't. Physically right now, I just can't. I know y'all are going through so much and so many struggles. Like, you just get it to me. Just email it to me. Like, I don't care. All right, so there's that. Did anybody have any questions that they wanted to ask before I skip over this? The whole page?
Yeah, I did not get that information.
Okay, well, let's look at it then. Okay, let's look at this, see how far we can get. I realize that Springboard is rather challenging, okay? So if you're not getting this, it's okay. You're still going to do fine on the ACT. But let's go over this. Okay, use this information for items 14 through 15. When full, one of the pools at Sapphire Island will hold 43 gallons of water. The pool currently holds 2,000 gallons of water and is being filled at the rate of 130 gallons per minute. Write an equation that can be used to find H, the number of hours it will take the pool from its current level. Explain the steps you use to write the equation. Okay, so let's just look at what they said. Okay, so look at what the key is going to tell us. The key starts with our answer. Okay, now where did the 130 come from? Gallons per minute, but why do they have 60H? Because they're looking for H, the number of hours, but they told you in terms of minutes. So how many minutes are in an hour? 60, which is why they have the 60 there. Okay, so it's making that conversion. So that's 60 per hour. So if it's 1 hour, how many minutes is that? 60 minutes. If it's 2 hours, how many minutes is that? 120. That's what you'll be multiplying by the 130 because it says 130 gallons per minute. So this is what gives us the minutes, but also tells you what they're looking for, which is hours. Yes, sir.
So for my equation, I went ahead and multiplied 60 by 130 to get the full amount per hour, and then put each next to that.
Okay, that would work as well. Because you're multiplying, you could use the associative property, so that's totally fine too. His method works as well. Now, where is this plus 20,000 coming from? That's right. That's what's already there. And what's the 43,000? The total amount. Okay. So looking back at this key can be helpful. You don't have to have Miss Cole to do that. You can look at the key and figure it out. And then it goes on to say explanations will vary. You have to remember this is a teacher book. I just gave you a copy of my teacher book. So they're telling me it's going to vary. So that's no big deal. Students may note that the number of gallons added to the pool plus the 20,000 gallons already in the pool must equal 43,000 gallons. They may also note that the minutes needed to fill the pool equals the number of hours H times 60. Okay. Do what, baby? You did? You go, girl. All right, so then the next one wants you to solve for H. Well, that's pretty easy. You should be okay with solving. The hardest part was writing the equation. Once you got the equation written, then you would just multiply here, subtract, then divide. You should have gotten approximately 2.9. So approximately 2.9 hours. All right, then we have number 16. So it says use the information for items 16 through 18. Sapphire Island is open 7 days a week. The park has 8 ticket booths, and each booth has a ticket seller from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. On average, ticket sellers work 30 hours per week. Write an equation that can be used to find T, the minimum number of ticket sellers the park needs. Explain the steps you need to write your equation.
What was the equation for that one? I can't see it.
Okay, let me show you. Whoops. See? Y'all, crazy town. Okay, so they're saying 30 times T. Remember, T represents the ticket sellers. So 30 hours for each ticket seller. And they're setting that equal to 49 times 8. Well, if we look at here, there's 8 ticket booths. So where did the 49 come from? 7 days a week. Okay. And so then we would be dealing with the hours that they're open, which is from 10 to 11 to 12 to 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. So they're open 7 hours, 7 days a week. That's where they get the 49. Okay. And so then you would solve it out, which turns out they need 13.1 ticket sellers. Okay. Then it goes on. Number 18 says the park plans to hire 20% more than the minimum. So you would just need 20% more. So you basically take that 14 and you multiply by 20%, which is, what's that going to be? 2.8. Okay, so about 3 more employees. So that's why they got 17. Okay. So again, very out of the box, not your just average homework assignment, but that's springboard. That is very long. There it is. It was off. All right, y'all. Let's do our assignment today. All right, so now instead of using one-step equations, we're using two-step equations. So it says, at Sapphire Island, visitors can rent inner tubes to use in several of the park's rides and pools. Maria works at a retail booth and is preparing materials so that visitors and employees We'll understand the pricing of the tubes. Renting a tube costs a flat fee of $5 plus an additional $2 per hour. What is our upfront you have to pay just to rent the tube? $5. Okay, you cannot rent the tube without paying $5. That's your flat fee. That's the first thing you're going to pay, your initial cost. And then we have an additional, how much? $2 per hour. Now, based on what you learned in Algebra 1, does anyone already see an equation that we can work with? What would it be? You go, girl. Who taught you Algebra 1? That's right, I did. So if we look at this, this is our constant rate of change. That's the rate they are charging us. So we have a rate that is going to be charged consistently, $2 per hour. This is our initial fee. Okay, so that's my initial fee. That $5 up front is my initial fee. $2 is my rate. Now, what's the other math words that we use for that? Instead of saying rate, we would say slope. Okay, and instead of initial fee, we would say y-intercept. Look at y'all. So we've got our slope and we've got our y-intercept. So just reading that word problem, we're already able to see that we have a slope and we have a y-intercept. It then goes on to say, as you work in groups, which we'll be working together, review the above problem scenario carefully and explore together the information provided and how to use it to create potential solutions. Discuss your understanding of the problems and ask peers and your teacher to clarify any areas that you're not clear of. Number 1, Maria started making a table that relates the number of hours a tube is rented to the cost of the tube. Use the information above to help you complete the table. All right, if we rent a tube for 1 hour, how much do we have to cost? How much do we have to pay? $7. How'd you get your answer? Okay. 2 times 1, $2 for the 1 hour, plus your $5. So how many for 2 hours? 9, and then next, then. So what's it going up each time? Why? Because that is our constant rate of change. The constant rate of change is adding $2. Okay, so it's $2 extra every single time. That's a constant, our constant rate of change. It says explain how the customers could use the pattern in the table to determining how long it would take or how much it would cost to rent the tube for 6 hours. What could they do to figure out what it's going to be for 6 hours? Add $2 to 5-hour amount. Or someone else just said something else. Plug in 6, right? To equation. That would also work. That gives us 2 options. Because let me just tell you, not everybody's good at math, okay? So when you are in a real situation where you show up at Splash Kingdom and they're like, this is how much money you owe me, do you just trust them? Like, what if they overcharge you? What if they undercharge you? You know?
If they undercharge me, great.
Okay, you're good with that. You're good at the undercharge. Cool. But you don't want to be overcharged, so it helps for you to be able to know how to do a little bit of math. okay? So you know you're being charged $2 per hour. So 2 times 6, if you're going to rent it for 6 hours, that's $12. Plus you have to pay the rental fee of $5. 12 plus 5 gives you $17. Okay, so knowing how to do just a little bit of math is good. And you probably would never even realize if you were standing at Splash Kingdom renting a tube that you're actually doing algebra, okay? No one thinks in terms of algebra when they're like paying for something, but you very much are. You're paying for a rate, okay? You're paying for that initial fee. Just like when I pay my cable bill, okay? I pay so much per day for my cable, okay? That's algebra, okay? So anything that you do that there's a rate, okay? When the plumber comes to fix my toilet at my house, I have to pay for his like arrival fee. They get money for just showing up at your house, okay? There's a flat fee of $50 for arriving at my house, even if he does nothing, okay? Then I have to pay him per hour, okay? So that's algebra. It's a 2 variable equation. You're dealing with an initial amount that you're paying him because he's a specialized person. He has a specialized job, so you're paying him to just give us his services, plus you have to pay him his hourly rate, okay? It's algebra. All right, the next thing says, if Maria wants to write an equation in 2 variables, x and y, that employees can use to calculate the cost of renting a tube for any number of hours. Well, we've already done this, but let's just go through the steps and answer their questions. So, independent. Y'all know the song, Independent, or does that make me really old if I know like I-N-D-E? Y'all know the song? Okay, cool. Independent. So, what does the independent variable x represent in the situation? Here's our equation. What's that x represent? That's right, the hours. Very good. How many hours? Because it's $2 per hour. You can always figure out what it is when you think in terms of words. $2 per hour. So x represents the number of hours. And remember, the independent variable is always x. Okay? Number 4 says, what does the dependent variable represent? What's this going to represent? Good. The amount, the total cost of renting the tube. Your total cost of renting the tube. That's what you're writing right there on number 4. Number 4, the total cost of renting the tube is what y represents. So x is your hours, y is your cost. Hours and cost. Did y'all get that, or did I go too quick? So this is number 4. All right, number 5. Number 5 says, write an equation that models the situation. Well, we already did that. We did that first because we're so smart. How can you tell whether the equation you wrote in item 5 is correctly models the situation? What can we do just to check to make sure that we did this correctly? That's right. Plug in a time for x and check the chart. So on the chart, there was 4 hours. What was the cost for 4 hours? How much? $13. So let's check it. 2 times 4 plus 5. What's 2 times 4? 8. 8 plus 5 is? Does it check out? Yeah, so we did write an appropriate equation. Our equation works. Explain how an employee could use the equation to determine how much to charge a customer. How could they use that equation to determine how much to charge a customer? plug in the desired hours of rental. If the customer wants to rent it for 5 hours, plug in 5. The customer wants to rent it for 15 hours, plug in 15. Okay? I don't know how long water parks are open, but whatever. All right, number 8, right above that, it says, Maria also thinks it would be useful to make a graph of the equation that relates to the time in hours a tube is rented to the cost in dollars of renting the tube. 8, list all the ordered pairs that lie on the graph with a relationship between X and Y. Now, remember, ordered pairs are X, comma, Y. Okay, X, comma, Y. So we had a whole table of values on that first page. What goes with 1?
7,
What goes with 2?
9,
3,
11,
4,
13,
and 5.
15.
Perfect. So we've got our ordered pairs there. All right. On the next page, number 9 says, use the grid below to complete parts A and B. Write an appropriate title for the graph based on the real-world situation. Also, write appropriate tiles for X and Y axis, titles for X and Y axis. Graph the ordered pairs you listed in item 8 and connect with a smooth or curved line. All right, so what do we want to name our graph, you guys? I'm just going to say, let's say tube rental. Or you could say cost of tube rental. Who represents the cost, the X or the Y? Y. This represents our cost. And what does the X represent? Hours. Very good. Remember that when you plot an ordered pair, you plot the X value first, then the Y. So our first ordered pair is 1, 7. So I start at the origin right here, and I go right 1, up 5. No. Sorry, 7, right? Thank you. The next point is 2, 9. 3, 11. 4, 13, 5, 15, right? Can you see our constant rate of change? We're going stair steps. You see up and over, rise, run, okay? Now, did this situation just start out in the blue right here at 1-7? No. What would it be if you rented it for 0 hours?
5.
The 5, because remember that initial fee is $5. That has nothing to do with the hours, but you're paying $5 if you get that tube. Okay, so then do we need a curve or a line? I do want you to use a straight edge. Do not have sloppy lines. And also, I put an arrow on mine. Why did I put an arrow on mine? Right, you can rent the tube for longer than 5 hours. So it is going to continue to show growth. That's why I continued to go that way. Now, why did I not continue to go this way? That's right. There are not any negative hours of the day. You can't rent a tube for -1. You can't rent a tube for -2. So that's not realistic. That's why we don't have anything going that direction. Number 10 says, based on the graph, explain how you know whether the equation that models the situation is or is not a linear equation. So question is it a linear equation? Yeah. And how do you know it's linear? It makes a line. How else? Beautiful. Constant rate of change. Anytime we have a constant rate of change, we have a line. Anytime there is a constant rate of change, it is linear. There is a line. Very, very good. Number 12. What is the y-intercept of the graph? Describe what the y-intercept represents in this situation. I'm going to do number 12 over here because I want to keep my graph up. So what does it represent? Or first of all, pause. What is the y-intercept? What is it? 0, 5. That's my y-intercept, 0, 5. And what does it represent? The initial fee of $5 to rent a tube, period. It's the initial fee. The initial cost of renting that tube is going to cost you $5. 13. What is the slope of the graph? Describe what the slope represents in this situation. Well, first of all, what letter represents slope? M. Remember that? M represents slope. So when I write M there, I mean slope. So what does the slope represent? Or what is the slope? I'm sorry, what is the slope in a number? 2/1, actually. Now, I know with your chart, it looks like 2/2, but it's because we're counting 2 tick marks. So what does that 2 represent? The $2 rate, okay, per hour. So that's what it represents, the $2 rate per hour. So this is 12 over here above, and this is 13. I'm just not scrolling because I want to still be able to see my graph. Did I skip it? I sure did. Explain why the graph is only the first quadrant. Why is that graph only in the first quadrant? Well, it's not that it can only go up. There's no negative time, and you're not going to lose money. That's exactly right. Number 11, no negative time and no IOUs. They're not going to let you come up and rent that tube and say, we're going to go in the hole $12 so you can go have fun. That's not happening. That doesn't happen in the real world. Maybe if the tube keeper's your bestie, but she's doing you a favor. Okay, that's not how it really works. They're not going to take a loss for you renting a tube. Okay? Man, you guys have crushed this lesson. Number 14. Look at number 14 on page 10. Work with your group. Describe the plausible scenario related to the water park that could be modeled by the equation y equals 40x minus 8. Okay, they want you to come up with a situation. We just talked about a situation where we were talking about the cost of renting a tube. So they want us to come up with a situation. It says in your description, be sure to use appropriate vocabulary for both real world and mathematical. Refer to what we don't have, a word wall, and any notes that you have to make up and help you make your word choice. So, what is our rate? 40. It doesn't have to be $40. It could be 40 people per something. 40 this per, 40 that per. Okay, so it's 40 is our rate. And what is our initial fee? Or our initial amount? That's right, -8. Again, it doesn't have to be money. Just has to be some type of discount or some type of takeaway. So what could we say? What could be a situation that we're talking about with this water park? Let me give you an example. What if we said for every group of 40 people. That's a lot. Or maybe we could say each sweatshirt that costs $40. Okay, $40 per sweatshirt, but you get a discount of $8, a coupon for $8 because you're taking away. Okay, so it's going to be something 40 people get you an $8 discount. Okay, or, you know, I don't know, something. If you bring in 40 tokens, then you get an $8 discount. Can you think of anything else? Yeah, that's a great one. Okay, let me tell you what the book says. The book says the water park mails out coupons for $8 off the total cost of the ticket purchased. Tickets to the park normally cost $40 each. Okay, so we could just say the cost of going to the park is $40 and you have an $8 coupon. That's a good way to represent it. Aren't they smart? Is that how much it costs to get into water parks? Yeah. Shows you how often I go to water parks. Number 15. Explain why the slope of the line you graphed in item 9 is positive. Why is the slope positive, you guys? Do it. The cost. Our cost is doing what? It's positive because it is increasing, okay? So amount is increasing. So since we're seeing an increasing amount, we have a positive slope. Positive slope, increasing amount. Number 16, explain how you would graph the equation for item 14. What quantity and units would be represented on each axis? So if we were going to graph 14, that equation right here, what would you do first? Okay, start at -8 on which axis? The y-axis, okay. Then up 40 over 1 to the right because it's positive. That's going to be hard to do. We're not going to want to go up 40 over 1. So what would be another way we could do that? Make a table. You could make yourself a table, and that's going to be so much easier than doing that. So you could make yourself an XY table, and you could say 0, 1, 2. Then you could just plug in, and that's going to give you the places to put your dots. So you don't have to count up 40 over 1, because I don't know about you, but I don't have time to count to 40 just to graph a graph. Okay, so making yourself a table is going to be a much easier way to do that. Number 17, is the equation y equals -2x plus x squared a linear equation? Is that linear? Remember, a linear equation is y equals mx plus b. Does that look like that? What's the issue here? X squared. Okay, because it has an x squared there, it's not linear. That x squared, does anyone know what that makes it? Quadratic. I will teach you all about that this year. But that x squared makes it quadratic, which is going to give it a curved line, like a parabola. Well, that's obviously not linear. Okay? Any questions for me? You guys did great. I'm very proud of you. You are doing the homework right here. So tomorrow, I will post the key. It's due at midnight tonight. Tomorrow I will post that key. You guys can go and check that key out. Make sure you did your work correctly. You can also Zoom in tomorrow. We'll be Zooming first hour when we're going over our homework. If you've got questions, just unmute yourself and ask your question. Anything else for me? I, again, really, really appreciate you guys for being patient while I was away the last couple of days. So thank you.